You've probably heard some version of this by now. Trump or surrogates floating the idea of a third term.
We want Trump in 28. That's what they can't stand. A man like Trump comes along only once or twice in a country's history.
But we believe that the public needs a third term from President Trump.
Should I run again? You tell me. There's your controversy right there.
Maybe it was a joke. Maybe it wasn't. But if your first reaction was like mine, a little visceral mixed with, wait, can he do that? Then you're not alone. The idea of a president serving more than 2 terms is so far outside of what we expect in modern American politics that it feels like a non-starter, bordering on non-democratic. But the reality is, while it sounds outrageous, it's worth asking not just whether it's possible, but what it would actually take and what it would mean for the future of American democracy. So, for most of our history, a third term wasn't outright illegal. It was just an unwritten rule. George Washington set the precedent by stepping down after 2 terms, and every president after him followed suit. I mean, mostly. It's not like a few didn't try to break with the tradition. In fact, Ulysses S. Grant sought the Republican nomination for a 3rd term in 1880, but lost at the convention. Theodore Roosevelt also attempted a 3rd term in 1912 under the Progressive Party. And then there's Woodrow Wilson, who had hoped to run for a 3rd term in 1920, but after suffering a severe stroke in 1919 that left him largely paralyzed on his left side, he failed to gain party support. And so the precedent held. That is until FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who ran and won a 3rd term in 1940, and then again for a 4th in 1944. His decision to run was controversial, but with the war escalating, voters chose continuity over change. After his death in 1945, concerned about prolonged executive power led Congress to pass the 22nd Amendment in 1951, officially limiting presidents to 2 terms. But even after the 22nd Amendment, the idea of a 3rd term has surfaced from time to time. Even Bill Clinton, after leaving office, expressed interest in repealing the amendment, arguing that a 2-term limit restricts voters' ability to choose the leader they want. He suggested that a former president should be allowed to serve non-consecutive terms if the public desire. While this never gained serious political traction, it demonstrates that discussion about 3rd-term possibilities has not been limited to one particular party or ideology. In the modern era, these ideas tend to arise more as hypothetical than real legislative efforts, but they do reveal a deeper conversation about how executive power should function in a democracy. And if a sitting president, whether it be Trump, Biden, or anyone else, wanted a 3rd term, what would have to happen to allow that? The simple answer, they'd have to get rid of the 22nd Amendment. That means passing another constitutional amendment, which is no easy task. You either need congressional approval, which requires 2/3 of both the House and the Senate to have the ability to change, followed by ratification of 3/4 of the states, which would mean 38 states. Second, a constitutional convention. If 2/3 of state legislatures, 34 states, call for a convention, they could propose the change, but it would still require 38 states to ratify it. No matter which way you slice it, you would need 38 states to accept a change to the Constitution. And for context, Trump won 31 states during the 2024 election. To put that into perspective, even if every state Trump won were in favor, he'd still need 7 more states to get on the board. It's a highly improbable scenario given the political divides in the country. So the real question isn't, does Trump want a 3rd term? It's, do his supporters have the political power to make it happen? Because let's be clear, if a movement to repeal the 22nd Amendment and crosses those legal thresholds, it wouldn't be tyranny. It would be the will of the people through the system that we have. But if a president or their supporters attempt to claim a 3rd term without successfully changing the Constitution, that would be tyranny. And that brings us to the final question. If you support this idea, are you comfortable with the precedent that it sets? Because power just doesn't belong to one side forever. If Trump were to win a 3rd term through a constitutional amendment, then a future Democrat president could too. Maybe it's Joe Biden, maybe it's Gavin Newsom, maybe it's someone we don't even know yet. But once that door is open, it's open for everyone. So is this a real possibility? Right now, no. There's no real movement to repeal the 22nd Amendment. But it's a useful thought experiment. If a president ever does try to run for a 3rd term, you'll know exactly what it means, what it takes, and whether or not it's even possible. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this type of content, please like, comment, subscribe, all the stuff so I feel justified in continuing time spent researching these episodes. Later.